ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः. The nectar of thy words revives the scorched spirit of human beings. They purify the sinner and are the life of the holy. To hear them itself is auspicious and peace generating. They are the real givers who spread thy name far and wide. Om. Welcome to the Friday scripture class. And today's scripture, as last week, is the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So we are on page 434, and the chapter is Advice to an Actor, where Sri Ramakrishna is reminiscing today about his interaction with Keshav Sen. And he had a great admiration for Keshav Sen, and he could understand the greatness of Keshav Sen's spiritual depth. So he was talking last week also, we saw how he was talking about Keshav Sen. Today also he continues that. A paragraph that is almost at the middle of page 434. Let me read and then we can explain that. I said to Keshav, it is extremely difficult to realize God while leading a worldly life. How can a typhoid patient be cured if he is kept in a room where tamarind, pickle, and jars of water are kept? Therefore, one should go into solitude now and then to practice spiritual discipline. When the trunk of a tree becomes thick and strong, an elephant can be tied to it, but a young sapling is eaten by cattle. That is why Keshav would say in his lectures, live in the world after being strengthened in spiritual life. The worldly life versus spiritual life. Sri Ramakrishna is saying to Keshav Sen that spiritual life is very difficult for a worldly person. And he compares it with a typhoid patient who is supposed to have control on food, and he is keeping tamarind and pickles in his room, so they attract person to eat something. They're very attractive. That time there were no ice creams and there were no chocolates in that time. So in India, so the most attractive, mouth-watering food was pickles and tamarind, etc. So he compares with that. Nowadays, it will be like chocolates, ice cream, whatever people like. So if they are there, how will you have self-control? It will be tempted to eat something. Like that is worldly life, where uh, one is always attracted to enjoy the sense objects. So when you are open to sense objects, then control of sense objects is extremely difficult. And spiritual life is all about control. It is controlled mind, mind first control, then it is then trying to regulate the flow of mind in particular direction. Mind tries to go all everywhere. So controlling the mind is spiritual life, and you have been living in a place where you have a lot of temptation and attraction. So controlling of mind becomes very difficult. Environment has a great effect on our mind. What surroundings are, that is so important. If that and it influences our mind so much. When we know that when you go to some calm place, quiet place, our mind becomes naturally quiet, seeing nice scenery, going to some temples, you feel peaceful. But when you go to some like program where there is a lot of music and dancing and all that, and in that if you think I want to focus my mind on spiritual matters or spiritual ideal, It's not possible there. Your mind is already outgoing. This environment, everyone is jumping, talking, laughing, dancing. Then how will you be able to meditate in such environment? So that's what Sri Ramakrishna says. For a person who lives in the world, we all live in the world. The one worldly person means who is prone to lack self-control. For such a person, when he's asked or she's asked to control your senses and direct it towards God, in prayer, in meditation, in thinking, whatever way you think of God, gather the mind from the worldly things. Worldly things include our worries, anxieties, worries for future, fear of death. All those are the worldly things, worldly thoughts. It is not only enjoying the tamarind and pickle or ice cream and chocolate. It's not only that. The worldly thoughts are worries, anxieties, uncertainties for tomorrow, what will happen. Like those things are all the worldly thoughts. So when we are prone to be given to worldly thoughts, then it is difficult to think of God, which is a sign of joy, bliss, peace. So to gather the mind from the world and put it towards the source of joy and bliss. So that is what is called spiritual thoughts. So Sri Ramakrishna says we have to be in such a position, only then it is easy for most of them. So living in the world means that when we live in the world, we have many duties in the world. We have to go to work, we have to interact with the colleagues, but still we may not be very worldly if we have time in a day, once or twice, to focus on spiritual matters, where we can sit and pray for some time and try to reflect upon ourselves or try to find the divine sitting in our heart. So then that is the time when we are gathering the mind from the world and generating the peace and energy that is needed for our mind. When that is there, so it helps us to interact with the world next day or that very day, if it is in the morning we do, more easily and try to reflect while in the work also. So that is what, though we may be doing job, we may be living and working under the circumstances, but yet we are not very worldly, though we are maybe samsaris. So it's not for the householders. This worldliness is not for every householder. Well, if one is householder means he will be worldly. It's not that way. How you make your life, forget God, forget spiritual reality, and only given to the thoughts of the world. How can I have more money? What will happen in my future? How can I secure if I become sick when I am 50 or 60? I have to gather so much of money. Always thinking about the money, about the future, about the disease, about the problems, and nothing about God. Always given into worries of this temporary life, which is really temporary. If we only think of this temporary life and its ills, like its disease, its old age, its weakness, its death, then there is no spirituality. You will be always worried in whole day. That is very worldly life. For even a samsari, that is the worldly life. But if a samsari or grihastha or a householder finds time for spiritual practice in a day, that he or she is has the immunity from the worldliness, and he or she can live in a place, peace and bliss. His life or her life will be different. The joy of peace of spiritual practice will be seen in his life. There will be smile, there will be peace, there will be the aura of innocence, aura of joy will be there in that person. We can see that, whether he has two children or where he is unmarried, doesn't matter at all. According to different minds, you have different types of spiritual person, but that is what the spiritual level is. And Sri Ramakrishna is very particular about the householder, that they have to be spiritual if they want to live in the world with peace and with purpose. Otherwise, householder's life just goes from morning to end with work and worries, for first for himself, then for the family, then for the children, then for the grandchildren, and finally you are in palliative care. And what is there? How quickly it went. Gone, everything gone. Children have grown, grandchildren are now in the university. But what about you? You have been always worrying. You didn't have any joy of your life. You went to in cruise, you went to see many places because you have some money. But that time also you were worried. What will happen? How much money I spent here? What? How much? How can I save that? I had plans that it is extra expenses, and then now things have increased so much. Mm, this thing is also rates are going high. All cheap rates and airfare and hotels. What this world has become really under that government, it was so good. Now the government changed, and all you blame government, but reaction is yours. The one who ran the government has gone, new person has come. But in your side, all this negative reaction and the cruise and the beauty of the scenery, all you didn't enjoy because you were worried. Whole life went in worry and in the palliative care. Now pipes are put inside, death is imminent, and if you don't die really in time, so you also feel bad, and your relations feel more bad. Oh, so much long. In here, it is all free in Canada. But in India, all expenses every day, a lot of expenses. And after some time, his parent, his father, his mother, a grandparent, grandfather, grandmother. Okay, for a few months, 1 month, 2 months. After 3 months, 4 months, you are not dying. You are ready. You cannot survive, but you are not dying. Then instead of first the prayer, the first day will be, Lord, please make my grandmother okay. I want she should survive. Now praying for 15 days, no revival, no sign of revival. Doctor said very difficult. Then please make her peaceful, please be not suffer, and all that. Prayers have changed now to revive that because doctor said. After 1 month, after 2 months, now prayer will still change. Ma, please give her peace and let her go to her abode according to her. May she go to heaven. Like that, the prayer changes. They are also now get tired of you, and you are. What did I do whole life for it? Where is God? There is no God. I thought there is God. All priests said me, go to the temple, go to the places of worship. God will find. I never saw God there. I saw only image and worship, but my mind was always on how much these priests are all greedy. They only ask for money. They spend lot of money on garland and flower. What they could have done something else, a misuse of money. What is there? I always thought that way, would say. And that time also, you are very, never you attain peace in life from your very young age up to the death. That is called worldliness. Worldliness, when you grips you, we become like that. And it's very sad situation for a spiritual person. Things are totally different. Reliance on God and accepting the changing of this nature, the world. This body will change gradually. It will change. It will become old. It will become sick. We'll have to one day lie on the deathbed. All that is fine. That will be there. But before that, you have already gained the thing. You know how to find joy when you are not able to work. You have the name of God. You repeat the name of Kali, 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 and you see the Kali, Mother Kali, who is the creator of this universe, with full of bliss, and with that the songs that you sang in your when you were youthful, when you were in spiritual practice. Oh, Mother Kali, dancing with joy in the cremation ground. Mm, Sasanin Nachere Kare Ramoni. So like that you sing, you see that divine joy of the Mother Kali, and you are always filled with joy when you are even sick. You see all Kali, the eternal, the real Mother, the divine Mother. Oh, this is few time left, doesn't matter. So your death is no fear. You are ready to embrace death because for you, death is not annihilation. For death is the change of this life from little pleasure to a life of joy, life of bliss, from the world to God. That is the journey of from life to death. So that happens when we live in the world, we are householders, and yet we have practiced spirituality in life. So much difference it makes in the quality of life. They say this quality of life should be good. When you go to doctors at the age of like 60, 70, and they say, oh, you have this trouble. Now it is there whether we do surgery for your, if you have cancer, we do the surgery, maybe you will live for 5 years or 10 years, but it will give lot of pain and chemo and all that. So for 5 years you will have that, and life is the quality of life will not be that great when you are cured. But if you don't do that and you try to live on some pain relieving meds and no surgery, and you may die in 4 years. But quality of life for 4 years will be much better than the 5 years with all the troubles and going to hospital. So they say quality of life, even the doctors say. So quality of life is tremendously enhanced with spirituality in our life coming. So Sri Ramakrishna is saying about that. And he says how this Keshav Sen had changed that. And he gives the example, when you are practicing spirituality, do it with all sincerity. If you are able to strengthen your spiritual awareness by spiritual practice, the sapling becomes strong. Then the things of the world you can very easily handle. How to handle the things of the world? There are so many things. One person was asking me how to take decision, right decision in life. Right decision in life depends on certain thoughts. Is it very self-centered, or it is you are thinking about other persons also? In our thought, the less we are self-centered, and yet we think about the whole totality, wholesome thought about our family, about our relations, about our country, and all that. If we think and take decision, it's always good. And totality, you should think what is your goal in life. If your goal in this life is spiritual progress, then you have to think about how you live, how you lead. And if you are more dedicated to the family oriented life, to your brothers, sisters, parents, grandparents, then that is different issue. And if you are too much concerned with your family than your spiritual life, then it is a different concern what you should do. So it depends on your concern. So how you want to take the decision in life, whether you take this job or you remain in the old job. So like that, there are many things, as you know. In job, we take consider of the paycheck, how is the salary. Not only that, then there are perks. How much perk you get? Salary may be less, but you may get other facilities. And also there is other things in job. How much is the work pressure? So if it is too much of work pressure with little money, you just judge your thing with too much of pressure, only money is that much, so I'm better here, I know the people, this is fine, I know everyone, my job is good. But if you need some more money, then you will go for pressure. So decision you take according to your need and requirement, and this decision making becomes effective, and you can make decision easily if you are spiritually oriented. Why does it happen? Because your mind learns to focus. Your mind learns to withdraw. It can think deep into the matter and take the decision. This is right, this is wrong. This much, this I should opt, and that I can leave. So all depends on our spiritual life. Real best life is spiritual life. In Taittiriya Upanishad, it is compared about the happiness of life, and it says one happiness of one unit of the happiness of human life is the person when he is ashishto, dradishto, balistha. When the person is strong, blessed, and youthful. So yuva syat sadhu yuva dhyayakah, and he is spiritual by nature, youthful, strong, and focused. That is the one joy, the spiritual matter. To become really have the joy of human life is you have to be in spiritual world. Then only you are enjoying human joy of human life. And it compares that with the gradually takes you how much degree is the joy of realization of God. And he says to then it go to Yaksha, Gandharva, and this all that, and ultimately he says that many times, 100 times fold the joy of the knowledge of Brahman. So, but it begins the human life. Is not that who is all given to all sense enjoyments, whatever he wants, enjoy, eats this, drink, all that enjoy, eat, drink, and be merry. If that was possible, that would be nice. Eat, drink, and there's no merry. You think eat, drink, and be merry, but there's no joy in eating whatever you want, in drinking whatever you want, doing whatever you want, and you think you are very happy. That is not possible. That you don't become. The real happiness is in focusing your priority in life, having an ideal in life, and taking up that ideal, and having spiritual ideal is very important in life. That purposeful life will make you happier in life. That's what the shastras say. That's what all great persons say. That's what Sri Ramakrishna is saying. And the Sri Ramakrishna gave the example of strengthening of spiritual life sample. Practice when you are youthful, as much of spiritual practice, be grounded to spiritual practice. And when God becomes real in your spirituality, you have a support so clear, so tangible. You have God in your life without any doubt that you feel God is there. And when that has happened, your spiritual life has grown from sapling to a huge tree. Now the world cannot change you. World cannot give you suffering. It will not be broken. Spiritual life will not be broken. You can be supported by that spiritual life. That's what he said to Keshav Sen. Keshav Sen himself was a great spiritual leader, great orator, and how much he learned from Sri Ramakrishna. And he gave in his own lecture, Sri Ramakrishna says that one should make strengthen spiritual life, and then after strengthening the spiritual life, one should take up the things of the world. So that's what it is said. Swami Brahmananda used to say, job dhyan bharsa, tiris purale bharsa. Means within 30, you should strengthen spiritual life. Within 30, all will be gone when you cross 30. Job dhyan bharsa means surrendering, holding on to God. So 30 people extend that up to 40 because Swami Brahmananda was that. But 40 is the time you are really human being. All your strength of the physical body, mental wellness, all that is up to 40. After 40, it is degeneration, declination, it's all going down. Growth up and then down starts from 40. So after 40, mind becomes weak, body becomes weak, diseases come stronger, and your holding on to God becomes weaker. So before that, you have to gain all that faith in God, surrender to God, and a spiritual strength, becoming fearless. All that comes. Then after 40, whatever comes, when you have now you are going to a downside, then you have that strength in you. Nothing moves you then. Then you are strengthened by the strength of God. So that's what it is said. Practice when you are young. Yuvaiva dharma sila syat. So practice dharma, practice spirituality when you are youthful. So within 40, that is what is said. To the devotees, Sri Ramakrishna is saying, you see, Keshav was a great scholar. He lectured in English. Many people honored him. Queen Victoria herself talked to him. But when Keshav came here, he would be bare bodied and bring some fruit, as one should when visiting a holy man. He was totally free from egotism. So, having such a great orator, so much name and fame, and invited and honored and recognized by the Empress of the British Empire, by Queen Victoria herself. It is not ordinary what is called constitutional monarch. She was a great queen, of all powerful queen, and she recognized Keshav Sen. And Keshav Sen, Queen Victoria talked to her. Not only talked, Queen Victoria invited him, Keshav Sen. So that was so much honor was given to who he enjoyed so much honor the from the queen of the country, and also from the people, because his talks, he's very famous orator. And he used to give lectures in English and on spirituality, on religion, on practical life. He used to give all lectures, and many people used to go to his lectures. And many young people were all used to go there. If he had YouTube like we have today, he would have millions of his clients on YouTube. But that time, small world, only Kolkata, people couldn't come from outside. But in the metropolitan of Kolkata, many people used to go to listen to him. And particularly young, educated, English educated person, students used to go. That was a great value of that. And what Sri Ramakrishna says, he was free from egotism. Why he says that? Because being such an honored person, when he came to Sri Ramakrishna, who was just like a ordinary sadhu for many, he Keshav Sen understood his worth because he was a spiritual by nature. And by through his talks, by seeing his behavior and all that, he sent some person to test Sri Ramakrishna, is he genuine devotee or not. And people came to see that he is genuine. He sent some person and they stayed there and used to chant Dayamaya, Dayamaya. Then he said, oh, they have come to see me. Then I said, get out from here, or you are testing me. So he said that way to them. They had come to see. And all after testing, then Keshav Sen came to Sri Ramakrishna and found that he's Sri Ramakrishna, whoever has the eyes could feel that way. And such person coming to Sri Ramakrishna, he came without wearing cloth, no outward show. Otherwise, that system was there, wearing suit, tie, that was already there in Bengal. He came bare-bodied, no even shirt. So just like ordinary person, he came and brought some fruits when he came to Sri Ramakrishna. And he added, as that is what one should do when one visits holy man. That is recognizing Sri Ramakrishna as a truly holy person. That he could do. That's why he says he could remove all his vain glory of dress and the lecturership and all that. He must have done one or two times. Otherwise, he was to be followed by many disciples that would follow. But Sri Ramakrishna was very fond of him. When he became sick, Sri Ramakrishna went to see him. And when he became sick, he went to Thantania Kalibadi, the Siddheswari Kali temple, and prayed to Mother, giving, Mother, please cure him. And he said, if he is not cured, whom will I talk when I go to Kolkata? So all our prayers, you may say, why? Oh, it was not about Keshav Sen becoming well. It was about one's own talking when he goes. But all our prayers are related to something with me. Otherwise, there is no prayer. Everything. So when you pray for your son, it is also related to you. You pray more for your son. When you don't pray for, say, pray for your neighbor's son. That is also your neighbor's son whom you have seen. You pray for someone you do not know, for some person in Honduras you pray. That is also connected to you because you are human being. You feel the plight of human being. You try to think, and then because they are like human being like you. Even your animals, they are like in life like you. Everything is connected to us for prayer. So Sri Ramakrishna is praying for Keshav Sen, for whom will I talk? And what did they talk? They didn't talk about how to this, that he will go and say, oh, you are such a great, and Sri Ramakrishna said, I am great. Nothing. Sri Ramakrishna used to feel bad when he said, Baba, Master, you are so great. Don't say that. I am dust of the dust of devotees as God. That was Sri Ramakrishna's feeling. But he wanted to talk about God. That's why he said, please, Mother, make him well. It is not about his own thing, but one thing said to Mother that I am also interested in his being well to Mother. No, something if you say connected to you, then the prayer becomes more vigorous. And that was what Sri Ramakrishna was fond of Keshav Sen. And this Keshav Sen having so many qualities, when he saw Swami Vivekananda, Narendranath, he said, Keshav Sen has one time, Swami Vivekananda is 16 times greater than Keshav Sen's quality. Swami Narendranath was very offended. He said, Keshav Sen is such a famous person. You are comparing with me. He knew that he loves him very much. But he's comparing Keshav Sen is, if others are like small fish, you are like a red-eyed roe fish. So like you are big, huge in everything. So Swami Vivekananda told him, why you say that? It's very embarrassing. I am just a student of law, and Keshav Sen is such a honored, important person. And you compare that with everyone will say you are either you are totally mad or you have become blinded in love for me. People know that you love me. So I also feel so much embarrassed by your this impractical comparison. And Sri Ramakrishna said, what can I do? Divine Mother shows me that way. You are this and you are so higher and more powerful than in spiritual life than in given case of sin. It is not my making. Mother reveals that to me. That's what I say. So that was Sri Ramakrishna's understanding by divine power about Narendranath. So he says about the greatness of Keshav Sen, and he is totally free from egotism because he visited that way. Now, coming to the holy person with the fruit. So, Sri Ramakrishna said, when you go to the temple or the holy person, you should always gift something. If not fruit, then some money, something. If not money, jar nahi. Holy Mother made it simple. So every time we come, we have to put $5 in the pranami box. So better we do listen online than class. So every time $5, $20 in a month. So it is quite bit expensive. Swami, you are saying Tika Thakur said, but Holy Mother made it simple for us. You don't have to spend any cent. Then what should we do? Jar nahi jopo. Those who do not want to spend money, they can come and do prayer. Some prayer one has to do for all. Do prayer for the devotees of the temple. Do prayer to God for your and your broader family's well-being. Pray to divine for your spiritual life. Any prayer and japam itself is like offering something in the temple or visiting a holy man. It says you should have, these are all the signs of respect or honor to the holy person. So you don't go bare-handed. That's why this pranam and pranami thing came. But not compulsory that you have to come always, you have to give pranami. So it becomes very difficult. People will avoid even coming. So to the person, to the sadhus, if they have to always pay. And they said, oh, these sadhus are always say, and they emphasize what is said. Sri Ramakrishna said to Keshav Sen, he came with fruits. Now Swami says, don't come with fruits. We have so much fruit. Now we cannot, one person cannot eat fruit. Rather come with some donation. Then it's very difficult. What is this? Thakur could not touch money, and Swami says, give some donation. So that doesn't look like good, people will say. But Holy Mother saying is important. If we can, put dollar in a donation box. If you cannot, there is no need at all. Then do prayer. Come with pure heart. Come with open heart. Feel your oneness with all. You feel that you are all fraternity of your being with the devotees. That itself is bringing something heart full of joy. To other was a deputy magistrate. He was a big shot. You are a scholar and a deputy magistrate, but with all that, you are henpecked. That was bad side. Henpecked means one who is under his spouse, okay, or her spouse. Both can be handpecked, handpecked, cockpicked. So always following have no independence. So like that is called henpecked. Sri Ramakrishna totally says like that. You are a scholar, you are a deputy magistrate, but you are henpecked. So I was seeing that when was Hudson married? He was married when he was only 12 years old. That time was early marriage system. And of course, he was a deputy magistrate. He cannot be always henpecked. But Sri Ramakrishna's this always a little criticizing that, oh, he stands and sits on the bed of his wife, like he used to say to the people. Only it means about the independence. So not that you do everything what your spouse says. Wife here means spouse, not for man. Wife for woman is husband. And you should have your own independent thoughts, and there should be love. There should be life that is based on common decisions. But there should be independence also, and more so for spiritual life. What happens often, one have inclination for spiritual life, other spouse might not have that inclination for spiritual life. So other one of the partner, one of the spouse might be very worldly. So she or he should not drag you to the worldliness. So you should be able to practice your spirituality. That's what is being not being handpicked. You are there that, but you are handpicked in some thought. But after saying all that, he was the one who used to come to Sri Ramakrishna. He used to come to Sri Ramakrishna straight from the office, tired, whole days of work, and wanted to rest, spread a mat, and lie down and slept. Sri Ramakrishna, don't wake him up. He's tired. His coming itself shows his love for spiritual life. So itself is beneficial. If goes to home, wife may not allow to come. So he comes straight from his work. Spend some time here, whether waking, listening, or sleeping. But that itself is good. And then he goes home. So that was it clearly said. Sri Ramakrishna never had any hesitation to say spade a spade. He says you are henpecked to this deputy magistrate. There were people all were afraid to talk to him, and Sri Ramakrishna has no fear. Whatever he thinks about the person, he says. One person came. He was like not he. His caste was traditionally with the traders of oil, edible oil. So the people of those trade were said to be very calculating, because difficult to earn money, so they had to be less spending, and this, that is type of nature they have. It's the saying goes on. People of any trade or any community cannot have the same thing, but still people make that joke. And he said to one person, one had come, very devoted to Sri Ramakrishna, and he said that Rakhal wants to have build some water tank, water reservoir in his field, and he needs some money. Whom to say? I don't know. We love Rafa. And what to say to you? You belong to that oil trader caste. You won't give any money. I know, but to whom to say? Then that person, he said, from the according to caste, that your caste is very miserly caste. He said Teli in Bengali. You are Teli. So after some time he didn't speak, but after say some time he said, sir, you could say about Rakhal needs some money for making water tanks in his village for the poor people of the village. Why you have to say Teli and caste trader caste, oil trading caste and all that? He said that is a very insult to say something. You belong to that miserly caste. You belong to that group. It is very insult. That the person doesn't feel insult. This also your henpecked doesn't go to fight. What? Thakur, you said henpecked? I will go away from here. I will not come. You have insulted me. Thakur saying nobody felt insult. He was exactly like a 5-year-old child. So sweet, so attractive. Whatever he did, nobody felt anything bad. Once Akbar asked to in his court, one person, he pulled my mustache. What should be punished? What was it? The emperor's mustache punishing? He should be hanged. He should be cut into pieces. Like that, all sorts of things came. He should be life imprisoned. He should be beheaded with the sword. All came. Then all gave different opinions. And Birbal, most wise, his minister was there. He asked him, Birbal, what is your opinion? You should feed him sweets and give him respect. Every court. I knew this Birbal is always against Akbar. He doesn't like him. That's why color came. Someone insulted Akbar so much and he's saying you should honor that person. Then he asked, then everybody, when he saw all courtiers tense, then he asked, Birbal, what is that? Somebody behaved with me that way, and you are saying to honor him, to feed him sweets. How is that? Then he said, sir, you are the empress, your highness, you are the empress of this country, whole country in India. And someone coming to you and pulling your mustache, it can be no other than your young, small grandson. Only he can do that. And when he has done that, he has to be honored, cajoled, loved. That is the thing only you can do. That is what is with the children. If they even pull the mustache of the emperor, emperor feeds him sweets, gives him chocolates. That's what Sri Ramakrishna was there. Whatever he said, people didn't mind. Sometimes people mind this surrender and today it came in our gospel reading in the prayer time. He threw the garland the surrender gave, and the father surrender was very sad. He went to the outside, sat on the bank of the Ganges, and was crying. And then he said, not crying, not because Sri Ramakrishna threw that. Then he was reflecting upon oneself. Maybe I was proud, maybe something happened, the ego came, and I said that Sri Ramakrishna didn't accept that. No grudge against Sri Ramakrishna, but lamenting and about himself. Then he saw music going on in the room. He comes out, and Sri Ramakrishna put on the garland. He was dancing with that. There he was very happy. Like that, he was not unhappy. Like that, nobody used to be unhappy. Even other saint didn't mind being said that you were handpicked. But with all that, your hand, go forward. Beyond the forest of sandalwood, there are so many more valuable things: silver mines, gold mines, diamonds, and other gems. The woodcutter was chopping wood in the forest. The brahmachari said to him, go forward. So, you know the story of woodcutter and brahmachari. Brahmachari was cutting the chop, brahmachari saw, and he said, go forward, and then left. And he was cutting wood, coming, bring, selling. He said, Brahmachari is a holy man. He said, go forward. I should try to go deeper in the forest. Then suddenly he sees it's not ordinary wood, it is sandalwood. Oh, then he chopped. That's why Brahmachari said, holy man's blessing. And he cut that and sold it many times more profitable. And he was making, he had become now already much good life, rich man. After that, he saw, Brahmachari didn't ask me to go to the sandalwood forest. He asked me to go forward. I should go deeper and forward. Then he went there and found mines, iron mines, copper mines, go forward, silver, gold, and gems. This is the story. So, how will woodcutter find the mines under the ground? But the story says that there is no limit of spiritual life, the joy of spiritual life. Go forward. And that's what he says to others saying, go forward. Whatever you are doing, coming to me now and then, coming to Sri Ramakrishna now and then, is not enough. You should do more spiritual practice more vigorously. And when you do that, you will enjoy your life more nicely. Sri Ramakrishna came down from the steps of Shiva temples and went to his own room through the courtyard. The devotees were with him. Just then, Ram Chatterjee came and said that the Holy Mother's attendant had had an attack of cholera. Uh, this is we were sitting on the steps of Shiva temple that he went and he was talking. He was sitting on the first he came and sat. All the devotees sat came behind him, sat on the lower steps. Sri Ramakrishna came to lower step and was talking to him so nicely. And then he came down to his house, and Ram Chatterjee said that Holy Mother's attendant has cholera. Now who will help her? There is so many people coming, eating, all has to be done. So problem in life. So that is what the problem in life always happens. So when we are in India, we're dependent on the servants or on the helps. Sometimes they do not come. Then what do? You become angry, you say some word that is very irregular, that is irresponsible, and with all grudge, you go and cook yourself with clean utensil, you wash your clothes. And that is unspiritual way. Spiritual way is, oh, that person couldn't come. That is really irregular, I know, but God makes me more self-sufficient. I will go and clean. I will cook today. God wants me to cook. Little more work. That's so interesting to have your own food cooked. So that's fine. That is acceptable. So you don't have grudge. You maintain the peace of mind. You maintain the joy of your heart. So that is how the spiritual outlook on these things happen. Person doesn't have couldn't come. Might be he or she is sick. Might be he or she had to go to some other sick person relative. So I will ask when sick she comes. I will ask. There were no telephones in that time. Cell phone. Madam, I cannot go today. I have to visit that person. Please make your arrangement. That would not be there. Nowadays, the more communication is there. But nowadays, even if they give information, you become angry with the people. Why can't you come? I have to do so much. I cannot do. I have hired you for that. Now will be that way. People, even after getting information, they will have all the resentments and all the anger. But earlier time, no news, no information you have to do. But spiritual person and worldly person, two types of reaction. And reaction is for their own peace of mind and own anger. Losers are not the person who didn't come, but we ourselves become the loser. So it came. Ram to the master. I told you about it at 10 o'clock this morning, but you didn't pay any attention to me. So there are complaints against Sri Ramakrishna also. They have complaints against everyone. Oh, you have not control over that. People are saying, do they do anything? That Swami, that person would be so great. If any person speaks something, he would make so much of discipline in the place, in the office, in your ashram. People are there. To Sri Ramakrishna also there are complaints. I told you in the morning at 10 o'clock, it is afternoon, and you didn't pay anything for that. You didn't make any arrangement. You could have done that. He is complaining. But for Sri Ramakrishna, who is always in the hands of God, thought of God, Master, what could I do? You have to depend on the others. No, you will not go from place to place to correct the person. Devotee will go do. Ram. Yes, what could you do? He's still now making fun of him. What could you do? But there were Rakhal, Ramlal, and others. Even they didn't pay any attention. So they are always with you, listening to you, dancing with you, but not coming to help when the attendance has fallen. So what is that? Your administration is like that, not sending to person to work. So I have to think this. This is very important. I also get this type of scolding sometimes. You don't ask people to work. You don't ask people to vacuum. So like that things Sri Ramakrishna couldn't do. If I say that, oh, he was Sri Ramakrishna, you are just monk. You have to work. You don't compare him like that. The things come. So, but anyway, that thing, even Sri Ramakrishna was little told in that way. This Rakhal didn't come, he didn't say anyone. Yam then intervenes. Kishori has gone to Alambada to get medicine. So, for the person who was affected from cholera. Master, alone? Where will he get medicine? Yam, yes, alone. He will get it at Alam Bajar. Kishori was brother of M, of Mahendranath Gupta. He will get it at Alam Bajar. So Alam Bajar was perhaps the nearest market from Dakshineshwar, nearest big market. It is near Boranagar. Our Ramakrishna Order monastery started. First one was at Boranagar, and second one at Alam Bajar. When you go from Dakshineshwar, the village, from that you go towards Kolkata. First comes Alam Bajar, then Varanagar, then city, then Kashipur, then Bagh Bajar. It's like that it goes. So, Master, tell the nurse what to do if the illness takes a turn for the worse or if the patient feels better. Yes, sir. The ladies mentioned before saluted the master and were about to take their leave. The master again said to them, perform the Shiva Puja according to my instruction and have something to eat before you come here. Otherwise, I shall feel unhappy. Come another day. Two ladies had come. So they had come, have keeping fast that day because they had come to see Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna said, you don't have to keep fast when you come to see me. So don't keep fast. He didn't want to. He said, when mothers, women keep fast and they had some difficulties, suffer, I do not feel happy. So don't keep fast. But he instructed that day, start doing Shiva Puja. Shiva Puja, and he gave why I am instructing you to do Shiva Puja, because you collect the things, your mind will be in God. So it'll be one thing is about joy in thinking of God, and that joy starts when we stop thinking about the world. This worldly thoughts is the most worrying thoughts, most disturbing thoughts. When we think about one person, about the negative another person, when you somehow block those thoughts, peace already comes. And to block those thoughts, you have to channelize your mind to something good. Think of Krishna, as they say. Think of Shiva. And Sri Ramakrishna says, when you will do worship of Shiva, you'll be plucking flowers for Shiva. You'll be cleaning utensil. You'll be cutting fruits. You'll be doing some mantra, Trambakam, Yajamahe, something, pouring water. Go to the Shiva temple. Then all that you are in the thought of Shiva. The worldly thoughts are blocked, and your thought on God have filled yourself. So there really is a chance of peace when we can do like that. And Sri Ramakrishna suggested they were young ladies of the household. So that was his saying, and he reminded again about that. Yam to himself. Perhaps the master is referring to the world of avidya. It is the world of avidya that entangles a householder. Yam was still living in a separate house with his wife on account of a misunderstanding with the other members of his family. So, avidya and vidya. So, avidya makes us worldly, vidya, both are maya. Vidya maya gives us a spiritual impetus and we become spiritual. And he's trying to do philosophically analyze Sri Ramakrishna saying that avidya makes us distracted, makes us disturbed, and because avidya is all about worldliness and Vidya Maya is all about both are Maya. Even worship of God is also under Maya. In this world, we are all in Maya. Only going beyond Maya is Nirvikalpa Samadhi, which how many people go. So Maya, there are two types of things: Vidya Maya and Avidya Maya. Worldliness is avidya. Spiritual practice, spirituality, broad-mindedness, friendliness, Vidya Maya. So this being in Vidya Maya, Yam had a problem, Sri Ramakrishna pointed out. His father Yam had a stepmother, and there was misunderstanding with stepmother more than with Yam, more with Yam's wife. And that's why he could not live in the house and all of quarreling. And he came out one day from his house, and so 1882 was that thing. It is now 1884. It's almost 2 years, and he had not still gone to his house to his parents. So Sri Ramakrishna was always insisting, go and adjust with your family, with your parents, and try to go there. But it was difficult. Master his wife was, what had become little psychologically problem was there. He himself was very much tormented with this quarrel, and for him it was difficult. But Sri Ramakrishna's blessing, Sri Ramakrishna, go prostrate to him. Can't you live with your father? Adjust. It can be adjusted with your parents. That was Sri Ramakrishna saying. But it is very difficult when you don't have you cannot adjust with person. It's very difficult to be closer to them. They say it is a pain if you are psychologically very far and physically close. It becomes very, very terrible. So, but with Sri Ramakrishna's blessing, he could really return to his home and came to Sri Ramakrishna and says, I went back to my father now. So Sri Ramakrishna being in the with father, with a bigger family, he had children, he had children, they can talk. Joint family, you have to sacrifice your personal desires and personal freedom, but there is so much security and so much of um, joy for kids. They can talk with their cousins and their uncles and the larger family. But you cannot do eat what you like. You cannot do what you dress. You have to think about the whole big family. But there is greater joy. So Sri Ramakrishna insisted on that, and by Sri Ramakrishna's grace, he went there and could adjust in the place where it was so difficult for him. So M was that's why he was saying still living in a separate house. It was bothering him. Sri Ramakrishna said, "Go back to your father," but he was not able to go. But because he had wife, no, his wife, that's just. But Sri Ramakrishna saying something he not being able to do, it was very much bothering. So that's what it reflected, and he mentions here that Yam, perhaps master is referring to the world. And Yam was still living in a separate house with his wife on account of a misunderstanding with the other members of his family. Master to Banerjee pointing to Yam. He also lives in a separate house. You two will get along very well. Once two men happened to meet. One said to the other, who are you? Oh, I am away from my country, was the other's reply. The second man then asked the first, and who are you? Pray. Oh, I am away from my beloved. was the answer. Both were in the same plight, so they go along very well. So there is a saying in Bengali, Ami Birohini, Tumi Bideshini. Both do not have any security. They have come to some place where there is no home. Somehow they have to leave. So it is called Bideshini. Going foreign is was not. You had a hotel like that. You have to go and find some place. It was very uh, uncomfortable that time. And one who is away from house, that was the Vidahini. For him also all the plight was there. So it was the same case Sri Ramakrishna says about Mr. Banerjee, who had also come out from his home, he was not there, and the Yam who has come out home. So you talk together in same situation you are in the same plight, you'll make good friends. You can talk, you can make a friend of yourself. Someone will talk about how conversation goes on when you have similar situation, when people are in the same situation, same sickness also sometimes. You have said, oh, I have so much pain in my right leg. Oh, I also had pain in my left leg. How did you do? What did you eat? Oh, I had this medicine doing. I tried that medicine, but it didn't work for me. But it worked for me. Like that, you can talk conversation. One is Bidahini, another is Bideshini. So they can make big friend, they can make a good conversation. Sri Ramakrishna makes little taunt to this sweet taunt to these two persons, Banerjee and Yam. And Yam takes it very sportively, but he has a wish to follow Sri Ramakrishna's saying definitely. And with the grace of Sri Ramakrishna, one day he does that. Thank you. Now the closing chants. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmu. Good night to everyone, those in person and was watching online.